Today we got another great interview here in studio, but first, please check out everything at WrestlingMayhemShow.com and IndieWrestling.us. Subscribe to the Indy Mayhem Show on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, and the video versions of that are, of course, on the Wrestling Mayhem Show Facebook and YouTube page. And, of course, keep an eye out for events because these interviews are happening all over the place, and those events are over on the Facebook pages for Sorgatron Media, Wrestling Mayhem Show, IndieWrestling.us. You can join us in the Facebook Live, ask questions of our guests, and join us there. Just like Willa in the chat room, what's up from, much love from Auntie for our guest today already. Some love already coming at you. Our guest today is PB Smooth.
What's going on? What's going on?
And we'll ask him what the PB stands for in a few moments here. But I'm willing to take your guesses in the chat room. We'll get into that. So first of all, we like to get a little get to know you question on here on the interview. What is your first kind of memory of pro wrestling that kind of really kind of got your attention?
I was a big fan of the Attitude Era, and there's one episode I was watching where it's just Stone Cold playing tricks on DX, getting them back with like bear traps and a whole bunch of other stuff. And,
bear traps, I remember that.
It was awesome. Like that was my first memory, and when I got older, I started playing basketball, so I kind of like didn't watch it as much, and then as towards the end of my basketball career, I started getting back into it. Mm-hmm. John McChesney actually was a good friend of mine, introduced me to indie wrestling, and things just took off from there. That's
also, I feel like, because I had that too, where like high school was just like, yeah, I kind of fell out of wrestling for a minute, right? Yeah. Was it a I'm too cool for that kind of situation, maybe for a year, or?
For me, it was more. I felt basketball was the route I needed to go. A lot of people pushed me to do it because of my height and size.
And how tall are you? They can't notice with you sitting or on audio.
Hey man, I'm a 7-footer when I'm in that ring.
Jeez.
Yeah.
But it's like the camera adds 10 pounds, maybe the ring adds 2 inches, right?
It might. You never know, man.
He's legit. He's a tall guy. I'm 6'4", and he's towering me. So, but anyway, so you got into basketball and then kind of went back into it.
Yeah, I played Division I at Hofstra University.
Nice.
Then I ended up playing at Mercyhurst Division II in Erie, PA. Mm-hmm. I went back to finish my master's because my mom wanted me to, and for other reasons. And I felt that I was still playing basketball for bragging rights as opposed to this is what I really want to do with my life, you know, because I was used to people saying, oh, he's just tall. He got this because of his look and not because he put in the effort for it. And once like wrestling came to me, it just felt like everything I was supposed to be doing, you know, like when you walk out that curtain, everything that you put into it shows, whether it's your look, your charisma, what you do in the ring, like it comes from just me. I don't have to worry about a coach putting me in a game or nothing like that. So it felt great. And
also kind of moving from a team sport to, and while wrestling is definitely a bit of a team situation, but still it's you putting you out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
A little more without a net.
Yeah.
So awesome. So let's talk a little bit about kind of getting into it and the indie wrestling side. Like at what point did you say, kind of rediscovering indie wrestling? Or was that like, oh no, this is the thing I got to do at that point? Or were you always like, I think I could do this?
Well, until I met McChesney, I didn't know about indie wrestling, so it's still fairly new to me.
It was just WWE or bust, right?
Yeah, exactly. I had no idea. So I went to a few shows with some of my friends, and they were just looking at me weird. I'm like, what's going on? They're like, you can do this. Like, because they know me personally, my personality. They see my look and see how like I stand out like around everybody else that was in the ring and stuff like that. And originally, I was inquiring about being a ref because I didn't really know too much about it and stuff. And they were just like, no, you're too big. You got to try out. So once I started taking those bumps and running the ropes, it felt like I needed to be there, you know?
That's awesome. That's awesome. So and so it's kind of a natural fit. You already had the athleticism with basketball, right?
Yeah.
So was it a huge adjustment, at least the bump side of it or anything?
Yeah. On a technical side, it was an adjustment, but mentally, I think I was prepared for it just from all the training I had playing college sports and knowing how to use social media, things like that. Like I felt like I was prepared to be in the spotlight, just wasn't sure which one. And I feel like wrestling was that spotlight I need. That's for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about, you trained, you first got out there, your first couple matches. Were you always PB Smooth, or did you settle into that, or?
Well, PB Smooth was actually a nickname I always had growing up, just because of how I carried myself, like the way I dress, always have a fresh haircut, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And
By the way, show off that side up there.
Oh,
There you go. Yeah, that side right there. There you go. He's got.
I'm working on something.
I'm always interested in DJ Z. Always posts his haircuts on Facebook. He just got a sweet cut like 2 days ago. And
him and Gringo Loco, man, they got it down.
I don't know if I got the head for it. Yeah.
Hey man, you gotta get out your comfort zone sometimes.
I don't know.
I'm used to having a low cut, but I just don't care anymore. I'm just growing it. Whatever.
There you go. Yeah. And perfect for the wrestling too. But anyway, so getting into it, talk a little bit about kind of developing that character in the ring.
Well, when I first started, I was under the impression that with my size and stature, you got to be really careful with what you do in the ring because you don't want to give away that presence right away and stuff. Like a lot of guys can jump into it and learn as they go, but I was too afraid of like making mistakes. Mm-hmm. So I'm at a point now where John Thorne sat me down and was like, hey, we need you to, and if you don't know who John Thorne is, that's my promoter at AIW. He sat me down. A few other wrestlers were just telling me I need to get out my comfort zone, not be afraid to try new things and stuff like that. So I'm more just being me now as opposed to what I was perceived to be like stereotypically and things like that. And I think it's working out better for me.
And I know I've seen, large athletic guys come into a promotion and it's like, well, he's there because he's a giant, he's a giant and he can beat people up kind of and it looks impressive, but was there a little bit of a stigma on your size to kind of prove yourself a little bit more?
Yeah. When I was first training,
there's not a lot of 7-footers in the area in wrestling. Let's put that out there too.
Yeah, I mean, I was perceived to be more like a Big Show, and my body size isn't like of a Big Show.
It seems like if you're over 6'4", you do a choke slam, for instance.
Yeah, like that was a move that I felt I should do just because of my size.
No disrespect to our friends on the show that do choke slams for their finishing move, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, my original finish is somewhat of a choke slam, but I kind of made it my own, like it's more of just finding what you could do well and then like tweaking it so it could be original and unique to you. So that's kind of where I'm going with my moveset and things like that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about, so I know I've mostly seen you with IWC, teaming with Colby Red. Yeah. And I think is Jinx your manager in one of the promotions too? Am I seeing that on the posters right?
She was our manager in PWR, but I kind of ended that. Yeah. I kind of like claw slammed her, wanted some thumbtacks. She'd be all right though,
She's all right. That's a Saturday night for her.
It's the best business.
Oh, that's awesome. So you're getting. Tell me about that tag team experience with Colby a bit too. Like, how do you take the tag team versus the singles?
Well, for me and him, we both started training at the same time at a training school in PWR. We did that for about a year. And the problem with that was everything was good, but they only have a ring up at certain times, like when we have shows and things like that. And me coming from a basketball background and him coming from like other sports, we're used to being able to train or practice every day. So I sought out more training, and that's how I got hooked up with the AIW school in Cleveland. I was lucky enough to train with Johnny Gargano for about 6 to 7 months before he went. And I started bringing him down there too. And it's just a good feeling knowing that like somebody you came up with is like with you, like on the grind, trying to get places. And also like the singles, because it definitely helps me come into my own and puts more pressure on me to perform well. And it exposes my weaknesses that I could turn into strengths at some point. So I think it's the best of both worlds, having the singles and the tag.